Celts believed that they were Tusa de Danann, or the descendants of the goddess Danu. They believed that they arrived on the shore of Ireland and Britain in a cloud of mist after being thrown out of the heavens for having too much knowledge. The Celts believed that the Tusa de Danann were eventually overcome by the Milesians, a different Celtic tribe, and ran into the hills, where they still live today, imparting their magic into Earth in the form of magic landscapes and fairies. The ancient Celts would have been the direct descendants of the New, and today I'd like to tell you about them. The ancient Celts, also known as the Iron Age Celts, first emerged as a people around 750 BCE. The Celts were the most powerful people in Northern Europe. There were many different tribes of Celts, but they spoke related languages and shared religious beliefs and art. Celtic civilizations covered a huge area, from the British Isles, including Ireland and Scotland, all the way to the border of modern-day Ukraine. After nearly 800 years of living in Northern Europe and 200 years of war with the Romans, Celtic power was destroyed around 60 CE. Only in the British Isles and coastal France did the Celtic tradition survive. Celtic society was divided into four main groups: noble, warriors, farmers, and learned people. Nobles and their families were leaders. Some tribes had rulers who inherited their position, while other tribes chose leaders by council decision. Farmers, the largest group, grew food and doubled as warriors in time of war. Doctors, druids, craftsmen, and poets were considered learned people, and they used their knowledge to heal and spread Celtic culture. Most women cared for their families and homes, though women were trusted druids, healers, warriors, and rulers as well. Two famous Celtic rulers were Queen Cartamendua and Queen Boadicea. Most Celts lived in a village called Opidas. The Opidas had homes, markets, craftsmen, and trading centers, and were surrounded by protective walls. Homes were round with thatch roofs and beehive-shaped ovens. Though homes varied by tribes, the Celts raised animals for food and labor. They also hunted for meat. The Celts also grew grain crop for bread, beer, porridge, and stew. They grew vegetables like beans and potatoes. Celtic practiced Celtic paganism, a pre-Christian religion based on the natural world and its cycles. Celtic priests were called druids. They could be men or women, and they usually came from noble families. Druids practiced pagan rituals and ceremonies. Not much is known about Celtic paganism because there is no Celtic alphabet, and the Druids believed that their holy knowledge was too sacred and important to write down using alphabets borrowed from other cultures. A lot of what we know about the Celts come from Roman writing. We do know that the Celts were polytheistic, which means they believed in many gods and goddesses. Celts had religious ceremonies in nature. They had natural shrines around rock formations and sacred groves. In the forest, they sacrificed animals and humans and offered gifts to the spirits. The Celtic believed that human souls were immortal and transferred to another person after death. Celtic paganism was closely tied to nature. They worshipped the sun and moon and assigned supernatural powers to living things in nature. Celts were master craft people who used their skills to depict their pagan beliefs. The Celts were best known for metal and stonework. Metal and stoneworkers were highly regarded members of Celtic society because it took a long time to master those trades. Bards, storytelling musicians, and poets were also important artists because the Celts did not have their own alphabet until very late in their timeline. The 1st century CE, symbols became an important way to impart their beliefs. Some important symbols that appeared in Celtic metal and stonework are the Tree of Life, the Triskelion, the Trinity Knot, and the Sun Cross. These symbols represent pagan beliefs such as rebirth, harmony with nature, and family. Famous Iron Age Celtic artifacts include torques, shields, ornate cauldrons, pottery, masks, and sculptures. Later, British Isles Celts created inscribed stones. Most are grave markers. The stones are written in Ogden, a primitive early Irish alphabet that emerged in about 60 CE. It is often referred to as the Celtic Tree alphabet. Ancient Celts have influenced European culture, and their legacy is most felt in the British Isles. The Book of Kells was written around 800 CE, after the Christianization of Britain. Celtic Irish monks used their skills in drawing and calligraphy to create a beautiful, illuminated Celtic Bible. The Book of Kells has been preserved, and you can still see it today at Trinity College in Dublin. Around the same time, Catholic priests adopted the pagan symbol of the sun cross in an effort to convert pagans to Catholicism. They attached the sun cross to a Christian cross and created the Celtic cross. One of the most popular legends in England is the tale of King Arthur. This legend has Celtic origin from about the 6th century, and likely from even earlier. King Arthur is based on a Celtic king and warrior that fought against the Romans. Today you can see the most Celtic culture in Ireland and Scotland, including ruins, standing stones, story art, and dance. The Iron Age Celts were a power for 800 years in Europe. Their society, religion, and art left a lasting impression on the entire continent and far beyond.